Hey guys, it's Tom here with MYT Solar. I want to talk a little bit today about ventilation with big lithium systems and when you might need it, as well as how we do it. I want to tell you how we've been setting it up lately, making sure that all that equipment is staying nice and cool and functioning as it should. One of the first considerations with ventilation is deciding where you're going to put the install. And the install often can be in different areas, but the areas have to be thought about in terms of what kind of airflow and what kind of temperatures can I expect in that compartment, especially when the equipment is doing its thing. If you think about the install, there's certain things that are going to generate a lot of heat, certain things that are going to generate a little bit of heat, and certain things that maybe won't generate any heat, something like a battery. So for example, if we were going to put the full install in a storage compartment like this, that is a sealed compartment, we'd definitely be trying to think about a little bit of ventilation. Ventilation could even be suggesting the customer crack the door when they're really working that inverter, because that inverter is what's going to generate most of the heat. If you've watched our videos, you'll probably notice that our preference is to bring the equipment inside the RV, ideally, mostly because generally this inside of the RV is a little more temperature controlled than, say, a storage bay like I just showed you outside. Our install today for this 25 DVS outdoors RV is underneath the bed. One nice thing about it being in here is that generally you're going to keep this rig, inside of this rig, fairly climate controlled. It's never going to be too hot in here and it's never going to be too cold inside this ambient air. However, this is still a pretty small compartment where we've got the inverter, we've got the two MPPT charge controllers, and we don't have a lot of volume in here because you can see this is a maxed out system with four 330 amp hour batteries. So this is a very jammed compartment, and you can see it's also a pretty small little bed design than compared to some others. Talking about this, in terms of ventilation, what we did for this, we can think, well, are we either just going to have some passive ventilation or are we going to have some active ventilation? So passive being what we would maybe regularly do. If there was a little less equipment in this bay and a little more space in this bay, we usually put 4 vents, just vents, into this compartment. The Multiplus itself has fans, and we usually set it up so that the Multiplus is venting out of one of those vents, and by the fan pushing air out of one of those vents, it also means that there's circulation of air coming in one of the other vents. That's still just passive because we haven't added any fans. The Multiplus makes it somewhat active because of the fans on the Multiplus, but we don't really want to rely on the equipment to cool it down when it's really, really hot in this bay. And we expect this bay to get pretty warm compared to most because of 2 big charge controllers, 2,500 watts of solar on the roof, a Multiplus that is going to be working a lot of the time because there's a big battery bank to support it. So we knew this would be a big system. Those are some of the decisions in terms of whether we're going to add some fans in here to move the air a little bit around. And this one definitely dictated that. If there's going to be a lot of Orion DC to DC charges, those tend to get warm. All that equipment generates some heat. The nice thing about Victron is it is adaptable in that way. Multiplus, for example, will let us know there's an over temperature warning and it's derated itself. It's not going to put out 3,000 watts anymore. It's only going to put out 2,400 to stay cool. It's nice that the Victron equipment does that. But if you ever look inside a Multiplus with the cover off it and see all those microelectronics, it's obviously a good idea to keep those as cool as possible. What we did for this customer today is we actually have 2 fans on this side of the install. If we look under the bed, that would mean that we have a fan here and we have a fan over this side. We also have our 2 regular vents on each side. So it's going to be pulling air in through those vents and pushing the warm air out this side. And obviously this air in here is going to be habitable. It's going to be 70 degrees, maybe 80 degrees. In there it may be much warmer. Obviously we don't want those fans running all the time, and I want to tell you how we set this up so that those fans are temperature controlled. Another factor is actually selecting the fan for that job. So here we have 2 different basic computer fans. I'm always going to look for brushless fans just because they tend to last a little longer and they're a little quieter and a little more efficient. These 2 fans, each fan draws 0.2 amps. So when these are running, that's 0.4 amps, which is obviously very small when we've got a 1,320 amp hour bank. But the reason fan selection becomes important is honestly for sound. When this little fan's running, it's a lot quieter than when this big fan's running. So I might decide, well, how much air do we really need in this compartment? And so most of the time I'm going to opt with this little guy. This might be if it was a storage bay that was going to be baking in the sun a lot of the time. We'll show you how I wired in the fans, but I want to kind of show you how they're controlled first. A lot of the Victron equipment has built-in relays, which can be triggered in order to close circuits to allow things to come on. For example, our LEDs that we mount under the bed are on a relay that's controllable by the Touch 70 screen. So the MultiPlus has a relay built into it. The bigger MPPTs also have relays built into it, but the Serbo is the main guy with the relay that we wanted to use, mostly because we get a lot more control on the screen. In relay here, you can see I've got my two relays. One which I just showed you was for the LEDs. The other one is based on temperature. And if we go into the hit temperature control rules here, you can see I've set it up so that it will activate the fans at 109 Fahrenheit and deactivate the fans at 90 Fahrenheit. So they're not always coming on. They're not always annoying the customer with their sound, and they're not always drawing power. I always tell the customers we may need to play around with that. Those fans are coming on at times when the MultiPlus isn't bulk charging, or at times when the air conditioner isn't being run off the inverter, then maybe it's not necessary. It's a bit of a play around with that and see exactly what conditions those need to actually turn on. In terms of wiring the fans, like I mentioned, the Serbo has those relays available. And so how you use those relays will kind of depend on the situation. You've got to pull, these are a 12 volt fan, so we need to pull 12 volt power from somewhere acceptable in the system, run it to those relays, and then that way those relays can be controlled by the Touch 70. But down on the Serbo is where you're going to find those relays. I'll do another video at a later date that'll specifically show how to wire that in with the Serbo out of this rig. It's a little hard to show you right now. Let's jump on the roof and I'll show you what we did with the solar for this rig, because we're pretty stoked about it. It's a big system, 2,500 watts of solar, 1,320 amp hours of batteries. You can see why we really needed these fans for the kind of heat that could get produced underneath that bed. Again, talking about heat, we have 2,500 watts of solar up here with this big array. So we used our rail system. We got 10 of these 250 watt panels up here because of our rail system, and obviously a lot of nice walking space. But with that much power, when this is getting converted from the 60 or 80 volts that it is here on the roof down to the 14.4 volts that it needs to charge those batteries, there's going to be some power loss in that process, and that power loss is heat. That's why when you look at the back of an MPPT, you're going to see those big heat sinks. There's heat there. When we have a big power system like this, we've got to think about that, and we've got to think about how can we strip away some of that heat to keep the system more efficient, essentially getting more power for the customer. Well, thanks for watching. This is Tom with MYT Solar here at Thompson RV in Pendleton, Oregon. Really stoked with this. I hope that some of that was useful in terms of the fans. Like I said, I can have some more videos coming out here soon, a little more specifically on how we do that. But I think it's good just to get that conversation going. Let me know if you have any ventilation in your system and how you did that, where your system is, and if you've had any maybe issues with lack of ventilation, any temperature concerns. Let us know in the comments. Cheers.